Welcome to my channel. I'm Matrona, and this is Matrona's Musings. Hello everyone, Matrona here. I'm so glad you could join me. If I look weird, I am in my pajamas because it is late and my husband's already in bed and my daughter is getting ready for bed. So I'm trying to be quiet, but I did want to take this video and take the time to go over why I chose WGU and show you a little bit about the online student portal, as well as talk to you a little bit about getting into WGU and other things like that. So I am going to go into my next part now, which is explaining why I chose WGU and some facts about WGU you might not know, some information about it, and then we'll get into looking at that student portal. So first I'll go over the reason why I chose WGU. I was looking at several colleges at the time I decided to go to college, and WGU was the one that I chose because of the ease of use of the WGU program. All of the textbooks were included. There weren't any external textbooks that I was going to have to buy or rent or download digitally to have on my computer. It was all included in the WGU tuition and program, which I liked, as well as the fact that the entire teaching degree, other than your last term or section of your degree when you have to do your student teaching, everything is online. And I am a stay-at-home mom. I homeschool my daughter full-time, take care of the house. My husband works full-time. So I needed something that would not have to require me to leave the house to go to classes, that I could take online at home. And WGU did that for me. A lot of the colleges do that if you have a teaching degree, but the main reason that I chose WGU was for the tuition. Everyone knows college is very expensive, and most of the time you pay per credit in other colleges. WGU does not do that, so you'll hear me use the term terms instead of semesters. WG uses terms that designates a 6-month period, which is from the first day of the first month that you start through 6 months later. And you can take as many classes and get as many credits as you want in that 6-month time frame, which is so great. The tuition, it is $3,575. That's kind of the base rate of the tuition for one term at WGU. They just went up slightly, but not very much. This was the first time that they increased. I've gone for 2 terms now, so it's my 3rd term now. And then it's a $150 program fee for my program. I do not know if that is universal through all the programs in WGU, but that is for my specific program. And then there's a $200 resource and ebook fee, which is amazing because they have an exceptional amount of resources available to their students. That is all included. Everything is included in the tuition. So my full tuition for one term is $3,925. You are required to take at least 12 credits, which normally works out to about 4 classes. Over that 12 credits, you can get as many classes done as you want. It's all included in that one tuition fee, as long as you get it done within 6 months. A note about that: if you are entering into the last section of your term, like let's say you have 2 weeks left, you do not want to start a new class unless you feel like it's a very minor class and you can get it done really fast. Because if you start a class too close to the end of your term and you're unable to finish it, or maybe your paper doesn't come back in time, or you don't get the results back on your test in time or something, you have to plan for those things. If you do not get the class finished in time, you will fail that class and have to retake it in the next term. So make sure you pay attention to your time frame at the end of your terms. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is just some facts, or some fact about WGU that you might not know. A lot of these are available on their website. You can read about it when you're applying or looking into WGU. But a couple of them I'll just mention. So proctoring. Everyone is so scared of proctoring and being on camera in front of a proctor. It is not scary. It is not bad. Honestly, you don't even know that the proctor's there after a little while. You just focus on your test. So because this is a degree that you get at home, you are required to do proctored test, which means that you need a webcam and you need a proper laptop that will be able to be set up for your proctoring service tests. You go through websites. The two I know of that WGU uses is Examity and ProctorU. I think that's the name of it. I have only taken tests through Examity so far. I haven't had to take one through ProctorU or Proctoring U. I can't remember. And Examity is pretty easy. It takes about 5 minutes to set up. You just have to like hold your license up to the camera like I'm doing. They see your picture, they go over your information. They look at the room, so you make sure everything is down in your room that could potentially give you answers. To make sure you're not cheating, you just turn your webcam around 360 degrees, and then you show them your desk, the top of your desk, and then under your desk and stuff. And that's just to make sure that you don't have any listening devices or hearing, devices or something in, just to make sure you're not cheating, because you are taking the test at home. You don't have to go to a college or to a testing center to take your test. I believe that children 4 and under can come in the room, like infants and toddlers range of children, just because they're not going to make you leave your infant in the other room for several hours. Anyone over 4, and I think it's 4, are not allowed in the room during your test at all. They cannot come in because they will bump you off your test and flag you for cheating. You can't have any loud noises. You're not supposed to talk during your test. It sounds scary. It's not scary. It's pretty easy. So that's the only thing about the proctoring. The other thing with WGU is the ease of the application process. So I applied to WGU and they sent me a letter back, I want to say within 2 days, 2 or 3 days, because I had to get my transcripts from high school and I sent them to them. And it was 2 or 3 days. They sent me a letter back that said that I wasn't accepted yet. I had to go through their WGU Academy, which I will show you. I was able to get my login information from 14 months back when I was in Academy. And I'll show you the Academy Student Portal as well in case you have to do that. A lot of times, if you've been out of high school or you maybe didn't have high enough grades or something, they just want to make sure that you are serious about going to college and you're going to dedicate the time to the hours that are needed for your college degree. So they kicked me back with that letter that said I'll have to go to Academy. Academy, as a side note, is about $150 a month. You cannot get financial aid for this. You can't apply for FAFSA just because it's not a university. It's not WGU. It is a separate college. You do have to transfer your credits from Academy over to WGU. But Academy is specifically designed for you to get into WGU. They give you usually 2 classes that you have to take, and that's the requirement. And normally it's like a communications class and another class pertaining to your degree that you're going to go get. As long as you pass those classes and you fulfill them, you are automatically accepted into WGU. And so it took me 2 months to get through WGU Academy. And that was only because the communications class is 6 weeks long and it requires you to attend a Zoom meeting once a week for an hour every week. And so it takes 6 weeks of attendance to fulfill that class. So that is the only reason why it took me that long. If you do not have the money for Academy, they are great because they offer scholarships. We were very poor at the time. We were living very much paycheck to paycheck and running a farm and could barely afford it. And so we could not afford the extra $150 a month at that time, which was over a year ago. I applied for the scholarship. I think you can just type into the search bar in Academy. If you go into WGU Academy, just type in scholarships. And they have, I think, 3 scholarships listed. And I was able to apply and fill out kind of a short response or a short essay as to why I felt like I needed the scholarship to be able to attend Academy. And I was able to, within like 3 days, they told me, congratulations, you're awarded $150 tuition. They'll pay my tuition per month up to 4 months. And it took me 2 months to complete, so that was fine. I tried to get it done as quick as possible. Unlike WGU, which you have to start on the first of the month of the following month once you get approved and all your checklist is completed, Academy, you can start that day. You pay $150, you get assigned a mentor, and you can open up your classes and start that day. So that's something to look into in case you do have to do Academy in order to get into WGU. It's not hard. It's not scary or anything. Academy is actually pretty nice because it gives you kind of a test run of online classes and online college if you're not used to that. So the application process is pretty easy. And once you apply for your FAFSA and you put in that WGU code and it sends all your financial aid information to your college, they get back very quickly because they start their terms at the first of every month. I started my term on February 1st, so it's unlike other colleges that have semesters that start in the fall or the spring. I started mine February 1st. And so because they have them at the start of every month, they try to get that financial aid information in pretty quick and get you enrolled so that you can start on the following first of the month. Also, a note about the camera and laptop, webcam and laptop requirements. Do not just go purchase any laptop on Amazon, Best Buy, or wherever. There are certain laptop requirements. You cannot have Chromebooks at all. I think Notebook is another one. I don't know if that's a computer or not, but you can't have those. The webcam, it has to be a like stand style webcam that comes up, I think it's 8 inches is the requirement. So you need to make sure to go onto WGU and onto Academy. They should have the same requirements, and type in webcam requirements and laptop requirements. And they will give you a list of everything. They even have webcam. I think there's a link to an Amazon webcam that is for WGU. That's the one I purchased. Usually they're like 40 or 50 bucks. Sometimes you can even go onto like a WGU Facebook page, and some people have them for sale because they don't need them anymore. They finished their courses. So that's something to look into. Also, another reason why I love WGU is because it is so easy to get a hold of people at the help services and help desks. So if you have a financial aid question, you can go onto your student portal, click on financial aid, get the contact information, call them, and you actually get a person on the phone. You don't have to wait for 20 minutes in queue. You're fourth in the queue, you're 40th in the queue. You actually get a person who gets on the phone quickly and they can find your information very fast and answer any questions you have. Your mentor is the same way. Your mentor should be easy to get a hold of. If they are not, it is easy to switch mentors. If you just have a mentor that is overburdened with a lot of students and they're hard to get a hold of, which does happen sometimes, then or maybe you have some communication issues with your mentor, you can just call the student services and tell them, I want to switch mentors for this reason. And it's pretty simple. It's a 5-minute phone call with the mentor's manager, and they're pretty cool about it. And they say, okay, I will get you switched, and they switch you over. So that is, those are some of the reasons why I chose WGU and why I like WGU, and it works for me. I hope that helped you in your decision. If you're choosing, maybe you're going to choose WGU to go to. If you are already accepted into WGU and you are starting your term soon, stay tuned because I am about to go into my video and I'll show you all of the student portals for Academy and for WGU and show you around a little bit. So that's coming right up. All right, so the first thing that I am going to show you is WGU Academy. I can't believe I still had all my information, but I had to go reset my password. But I went to WGU Academy, I believe it was 14 months ago. So I was surprised that all of my stuff was still here. If you have to go to Academy before you attend WGU, this is going to be your online student portal. You won't have access to this until you are attending Academy, and then it just tells me that I am planning on attending the teaching program at WGU, and it gives me my enrollment date, which was January of last year. And I ended up not starting till February of last year. I can't remember why, but this is going to be your basic online screen. So when you go to your Academy classes, this is what's going to show. The first thing you'll need to complete is your orientation class. I can click on these, but they're expired, so I can't actually show you them. The orientation is just going over how to work online courses. It shows you how to access all of your courses and the different parts of them, access tests, go to cohorts or Zoom meetings and things. So the orientation, it does take, I want to say, about 4 to 6 hours to complete. You do not have to complete it all at once, but it is very important because it kind of gives you an overview on how to do online college. And once you finish orientation, it just means you have 100% on that. The next 2 classes here are going to be PACA and English Composition 1. Depending on which college you are planning on going into at WGU, which program, they have four colleges: the teaching college, the IT or technical college, the business college, and the nursing college. This second class, I do believe only two classes are required for Academy. This second class will either be English Composition 1, or it might be something different. It might be a math class or something relating to which college you're going to be going into, which program. The PACA class here, it's called PACA, it's Introduction to Communication and Reflective Development. This class everyone has to take. I'll click on it here. So it is a 7-week class. Unlike WGU, PACA through Academy it's an attendance class. You do have to attend the classes on a Zoom meeting, and you basically, when you start it, you set a time for a certain day and a certain time each week that you have to attend your Zoom meetings on PACA. And it goes over the section that you were supposed to read in your online textbook, and then it goes over any homework and how to do that homework. So it shows here all of the topics for the 7 weeks. The PACA class is really interesting. I actually enjoyed it, but a couple of notes on PACA. It is normally a 7-week class. You do have to attend all 7 weeks. I do believe you have one makeup day. So if you can't attend, you can be absent for one day as long as you contact your instructor, and you do have to make up that class within kind of that week time frame. They do have an accelerated PACA class, and I do believe it's 4 weeks long. But I will tell you that there are a lot of assignments. There's a lot of screen sharing and working on Microsoft Word documents and doing PowerPoint presentations. And at the end here, after the Thriving Mindset, you have like a presentation. Here's my assignments here. You have all these quiz and mini lessons and live sessions. You get grades for your live sessions for attendance. And then you have some quizzes and you have some other homework that is due besides this. It does take quite a bit of time. And then at the end here, we have our journey presentation. That is like a Zoom call presentation. You're presenting what you did from this class. So there are a lot of homework assignments. If you are not ready to take the 4-week class for PACA, the accelerated one, I would advise not to, unless you have quite a bit of time on your hands, because in the accelerated PACA course, you cannot miss any of your days. You have to attend all 4 weeks. And you have to attend on the times that you were assigned to attend them. If you miss one of those times, you have to start PACA over again. That's the only reason that I say really check how much time you have to dedicate to it. Make sure you can make all of the appointments before you do the accelerated. And if not, then I would advise doing the regular 7-week class. English Composition 1 was the class that I had to take. It is expired, so I can't show you any of the in-depth assignments, but it is 4 writing assignments, so it's 4 essays. It kind of goes over how to write a good essay. It gives a self-assessment, and it does this is a plagiarism quiz just to make sure you understand how to properly do your paper and not plagiarize. You write a personal essay, a persuasive essay, a compare and contrast essay, and an argumentative essay. And then it just does kind of a final assessment and some revisiting your intentions. So those are not very difficult. You can do this class as quickly as you want to. This is the only time that you will really be taking 2 classes at once. In WGU, normally you only take 1 at a time. So I just wanted to show you WGU Academy in case you are required to attend it. It is not very difficult to get through. It's pretty easy. Everyone is very helpful at Academy. I had an awesome mentor when I went through Academy. So this is their online student portal. All right, so this is the student portal homepage for the WGU. This is what you will have access to starting on the first day of your term. Before that, you will not have access to this. Normally, there would be some classes down here, but I am actually going to be starting my new term in 12 days on February 1st, so I don't have any active classes right now. I've completed all my classes for this term. So your mentor information is going to be over here. I blocked out that information just because you don't need to see my mentor's information and contact her, but it will have your mentor's name as well as their phone number and email address, and there's a little appointment schedule button that you can use to schedule any time needed to talk with them. Right here is our term progress. This just shows how many days that you have remaining in your current term. So I have 12 until February 1st. It shows how many competency units or credits you've completed and how many you have left to complete. So at the beginning of your term, like I said, you have to take 12 credits. Sometimes it'll be 13. It'll tell that in the remaining, and then as you complete them, it'll get moved over here. Your program progress is really important because it helps you keep track of how far along in your program you are. So I'm 31% along into my bachelor's degree program, and then I have 95 credits left, 95 competency units left until I'm done with my degree. Right now, it says that I have 1 out of 9 terms completed. I'm about to be done with my second term, and then it'll show 2 out of 9. And if you complete more than your required 12 credits or competency units, this number will go down. So when I first started, it said it was going to be 11 terms for me to complete my bachelor's degree. I'm down to 9 now, and I think it was like 2028 when I was supposed to be this planned graduation. So that's gone down as well. So if you excel in your courses and you get past more than just the 12 competency units, then these numbers will go down, which is fun to see because it kind of makes you feel like you're actually doing something. So let me hide this real quick. Over here on the left, we have our financial services tab. This just shows, this is easy access to your financial aid and your accounts to show what you owe, and then any financial aid awards and any required documents for your financial aid that you need to fill out. The field experience button right here, I can't go to it. It takes me to an alternate web page, but I am not set up for field experience yet. That is going to be for your demonstration teaching. That is where you will find all of your background information that you need to submit and any other papers and documents to get you ready for your demonstration teaching. And your mentor will go over all that with you at the appropriate time that you need to get it together. The little notification horn up here is going to give you any notifications for you. So it'll talk about limited hours for student support services, holiday hours, pre-assessment, whether or not you passed a performance assessment or maybe it needs revision. So that's your little notification. There'll be a little pop-up that says 1 or 2 notifications. Your email is right here. You just click on that email, the envelope, and it'll take you to a separate tab which will allow you to access your student email. So now I'm going to go down here. Normally, when you start a new term, all of your active courses will be right here. It'll have easy access to them. You can just click on whatever course you're starting on, and then it'll show you what other courses you have to complete in your term. The completed is right here, so this shows all of the courses that I completed this term, and that's why they're green, and I have my credits or competency units for those, and then all is right there. Another way to access your courses is going to be through this courses tab. It shows you all of the courses you have for that term. It starts off generally with 4 because you're required to do 12 competencies. And then as you add courses to it and finish your 4 and add courses, it'll show up on there as well. So you can either access your course through here or it will be right here. I will go over the degree plan in a moment. For now, I just wanted to show you these 2 little tabs, the success centers. This is really important resources right here. So the writing center, that is where you're going to submit your performance assessments or your papers, and you will be able to have some instructors go over those papers and give you feedback on how to make your paper better, how to correct maybe some grammar mistakes and things, so that you're not getting those kicked back when you submit them for the final review. The library is an online library. They have librarians that you can chat with, I think 24/7. And that's really great for research papers and things because you are able to use the WGU library, which is always a good source for research papers. Student Success Center, that is going to be where you can find all of the different resources that WGU offers. The Career and Professional Development Center, they will help you with your resume and with actually finding a career once you get close to the end of your course or at the beginning of your course, if that's when you want to start it. Well Connect is just kind of a health and wellness. You could talk to counselors on there. The Math Center is going to be any and all help with tutoring or math concept that you have problems with. So the Math Center is very, very helpful. And then the Personal Learning Guide is just specifically for you to fill out to see kind of where you are in your personal learning for math and English and different subjects, and as far as like career readiness and things. And then we go over to our Student Support tab. The IT Service Desk, if you have any problems with any of your equipment, with your laptop or your webcam, you're going to be able to contact them here and they can help you out with that. I have not had to contact them yet, but everyone else is so easy to get a hold of, so I imagine they would be great to work with. The Assessment Services helps you with your assessments. Financial Services helps you with all of your financial service needs and financial aid. And then Student Life, Contact WGU, and Field Experience. These are just extra resources that you have available to you. All of these resources are free. They are included in your tuition, and there is no reason not to use them because they will help you succeed and obtain your degree. So now we're going to go ahead and go over to our degree plan. So my degree, I'm getting a Bachelor's of Arts, Special Education, Elementary Education, dual licensure. My planned graduation is July of 2026. Again, as you accelerate through your courses, and if you get more than your 12 competencies done per term, this will go down. So right here we have a little bar graph that shows kind of what you've completed, what you're currently working on, and how many you have left to go. So I had 6 credits transfer from Academy. That was for that PACA, the communications class, which shows right there. And that was from my English composition class. You do not have to retake those. Those do count towards your credits. So I had 6 transfer from Academy. I completed 18 my first term, and then I completed 18 this term, which will show as the solid green once my term ends and I start again on February 1st. So I have 95 credits or competency units until I can graduate, and it breaks down the terms for you and how many you can take each term, your credits. So I have 137 credits for my bachelor's degree. Normally, I believe it's 120, but since I'm getting the dual licensure, mine is a little bit more. Let's go down here. So this shows my transferred courses and when I transferred them, because I started on February 1st. This shows my first term classes and then my current term classes. This does go ahead and show you all the classes that you will have to take through the rest of your course, which is really nice because at least you know like what you're supposed to take. I know in other colleges you have to kind of go through, my husband has to do this every semester, go through and pick and choose what he needs to take and what credits he needs and stuff. So WGU, the great thing about it, they give you everything you're supposed to take and they break it down in terms for you. And it's really, really, really easy to get registered for a term. So I will just point out really quick, everything down to, and it might be mixed up in order when you start at WGU, but everything down to Introduction to Biology for me, everything above that are going to be gen ed classes or general education classes. So this is going to include your math, your history, humanities, health, fitness, and wellness, your science classes, all of those are just the general education classes that you have to complete, and you can do these classes in any order. You can change them around and do them in any order. And then once you get to this, the school is a community of care. Everything from there down, everything is in order. So you have to take these in order. They cannot be out of order. You can't take them out of order. So everything is in order. And then once you scroll down here to the end, we start our supervised demonstration teaching. So this is going to be your in-class demonstration teaching time. So that requires you to go to the classroom and teach, and you're observed by another teacher. So I will go over what these assessment little letters mean over here. So the O's stand for objective assessments. That means that this particular class is going to require you to take a final that will have to be proctored. You'll have to be on camera and take it through Examine or Proctor or some proctoring service, so that you'll have to be on camera and take your test online. That's kind of just a final. When you see the P, that is going to be a performance assessment. That just means that you have a paper due for that class. You have to write a paper. Now, that might mean just because there's one P, it might mean that you have one performance assessment or one task or one paper due. All of those are terms for just a paper, or you might have 4 papers due. It just depends on the class. And then some of them have the P and the O, which means you have papers due as well as you have to take a final. And so to show you around a class a little bit, I am going to go up here to my humanities class because it does an objective assessment and a performance. And I'll show you those here in just a minute. So this is the basic home page or home screen for your classes. You have the overview right here. This gives you what your class is about, what you're going to be studying. Your competencies are on the left. This goes over everything in the course that you're going to be studying. The course planning tool is something that you need to complete before you start your class. So if you go to enroll in your classes, I believe you can do the course planning tools before you are registered for those classes. And this just kind of gives you a quiz to see how much you know on that class and see how well how well you're ready for that class, ready to take that class. This can also help in you and your mentor deciding in what order you want to take your classes for your next term, because you might decide that you didn't do so well on one course planning tool and you want to take those classes first to get them out of the way, and then do the classes you did well on the course planning tool and you know more of the material later on so that you're not kind of stuck at the end of your term. Your instructor information is going to be over here on the right. Usually there will be a picture of the instructor and their contact information. I've already finished this class, so it's not there anymore. And then there's an instructor group here, and you can schedule an appointment or you can email the group. Usually there's about 7 or 8, sometimes less, sometimes more instructors per class that are kind of assigned to that class. And you will get a particular instructor assigned to you for that class. But if you can't get a hold of them for some reason and you have an important question, you can email the instructor group and someone will get back with you. The announcements over here on the right are any and all announcements that are specific to this class. So it will have videos and information sheets, and these are different with every class. Exam study guides and how to get a hold of them again. And then it gives you, here's a cohort schedule, which we'll look at here in just a minute as well. So it's always important when you open a class to check your announcements, also your course tips. Course tips are very, very, very good. This is a resource that I always use. I always check my course tips when I open a class because it gives you all kinds of good resources and tips on taking this class, as well as kind of when to schedule your objective assessment and how to prepare for it. And then it also has a bunch of other resources as well. So we're going to move down here to the learning section, and it will kind of give you an introduction to humanities. It'll tell you a little bit about how to access your course information, and you'll go to course material right here. It'll go to your textbook, your online textbook. And then usually they have some kind of a beginning video and you just select which college. So I'm in the Teachers College, so I would select that one. And it just gives a message from that, from your course instructor or from one of the course instructors in the group. The cohort sign up is really important. You should always look at the cohorts, especially if you're not sure about a class. Usually they have a lot of helpful videos and you can just do like a Zoom meeting with them, and it's usually like a group Zoom meeting. So this one actually has like a game, which is awesome, and they usually have some kind of study skills. A lot of times they will have like an end of course review extravaganza, which is great for right before you take your objective assessment or your final. And you just go here. It gives you all the details about the cohort, what it offers, what sessions they have, and then it just gives you like the dates of them and what time. And you can just click right there and click enroll, and you can sign up for the cohorts. The cohorts are a great resource to use as well. And finally, onto the assessments. So the objective assessment is going to be that final test I was talking about. The pre-assessment is a quiz that makes sure that you are prepared for that final assessment. So this is a timed quiz. It does not have to be on camera. You do not have to be on camera for the pre-assessment. It tells you how many questions are on the quiz. And again, this is a timed quiz. You have 180 minutes. As long as you pass the pre-assessment, then and only then after you pass it will your mentor open up the objective assessment. So the objective assessment will not be available until you pass the pre-assessment. So that is very important. Also, something to note on the pre-assessment, some people use their notes on the pre-assessment. That is totally up to you. I do not, because I want to make sure that if I can take my pre-assessment after going over all of my course material, if I can take my pre-assessment without my notes, then I know that I'm ready to take my objective assessment, because you are not going to be able to have your notes with you during your objective assessment. Everything has to be out of the room because you're on camera. That would be considered cheating. So, also, one more note about the pre-assessment. It is the same test every time. I don't even think the numbers change. So it's the same questions and same test. Normally, the course instructors, it's important to get with each of them to figure out when they want you to take the pre-assessment. I always take the pre-assessment after going over all of my course material, all of the material I'm supposed to read. Then I do the pre-assessment because I want to take it one time. And if I take it without my notes, I know I'm ready. So that's that. And we'll look at actually the coaching report really quick. So this is my coaching report for my pre-assessment. And so it'll tell you if you did exemplary or competent or approaching competent. So basically the exemplary means that I hardly missed any, or I didn't miss any at all. So in these, I didn't miss any. And then the competent, which is anything over this black mark, means that I know this information well enough. And then approaching competency, you can see I'm pretty close there. But the neoclassicism and enlightenment period, I need to just go back and review that. So that will give you what you need to review, and it'll basically tell you whether or not you're ready to take the test. The coaching report, after you take your objective assessment, will look similar to this. It looks almost the same. So then we go down to our performance assessment, which is the paper I was talking about, also known as the task. Sometimes there will be multiple tasks. The humanities class here only has one task. And these little dots will tell you how far along your paper is in being graded. So first it'll say you have task 1 due. Once you submit it, it will say it's in queue. And then it'll be evaluation, little dot right here, which means that the instructor is evaluating your paper and grading it. And then it'll say evaluation done, or there'll be that big exclamation mark triangle orange sign here that says revision needed. The tasks or the performance assessment or papers, you can turn them back in as many times as you need. If you get your tasks kicked back 6 times and you have to revise your paper 6 times, you can turn them back in, and that is fine. That does not mean you fail the class, and they give very good feedback. Listen to your instructor's feedback and reevaluate your task and revise it. On all of these, on like your objective assessment and things, the score will say competent or exemplary. You will not get a graded score. WGU does not do graded scores. They do in Academy. I know in Academy you saw that I had number grades. In WGU, competent means that you passed, you know this material, and you can move on to your next class. Exemplary means you really know it and you made almost 100, you barely missed anything. So just a note on that, because you won't see number grades. The task page is going to be right here. So it gives you the overview. So this is the competencies that you need to know for this paper. The introduction tells you what you're going to be writing about in this task. And then the requirements are basically a breakdown of what you're supposed to be writing about. And you will have to do each one of these. So you have to have an A, an A1, A2, A3, B, and you write on that, and a C, and so forth. It is really, really important, very important on your task to pay attention to the language that they use in it. So on this one, it says, in this task, you will write an analysis of one work. Choose one work from one time period. If it says choose one or the other, it still means only one. If it says choose this and that, it means cover both of those items. So it's really important. You do not choose 2 works or they will kick your paper back. If it says 2 or more, that's great. You can do more than that. But it's very important to pay attention to the wording of the introduction and the requirements. So pay close attention to that. And then it's also important to look at the rubrics. The rubrics just go over every little section of your paper and what is competent. So it's important to actually get your paper, go over each section of your paper as you read it, and make sure you are in this competent area and not in the not evident area. It's also important, make sure you're putting your sources, you're citing everything, and you're using professional communication in your paper, because you will be graded on those as well. If you do not have your sources listed on a sources page, you will get kicked back and they will say the sources are not evident or they're approaching competency. Also, at the bottom of your tasks, it's always important to check the bottom, because sometimes, like this one, they will have web links. Some of the papers do not use a traditional, you go to Microsoft Word and type your paper. Some of them have templates that you fill in down here. So it's really important to check that as well. And some of them, if it's on a certain topic, they'll have a topic list at the bottom for you to choose from. So make sure you go over everything on your task, read over the whole task before you start on it. Then once you're ready to submit your task, you'll go to your submissions tab. So I passed on attempt 1. Sometimes there will be multiple attempts and you can just click on those and it'll tell you what you're doing on each one. So this one, again, once it's submitted, it'll say in queue. And then when it's in evaluation, it'll be here and it'll either say revision needed or evaluation done. This similarity score right here is really important to pay attention to. It cannot be over 30%. There is a report that tells you what is similar. If you have over 30%, you have a very big possibility of getting your paper kicked back, because that means that you are plagiarizing or it's just too close to someone else's paper. So really, really pay close attention to that. And then once you get your paper back, if it's done, you go to your evaluation report. And you go to this even if it says revision needed, because the evaluator comments will tell you what you need to revise, as well as each section of your paper. It'll either say competent over here, or it'll say approaching competency or not evident. And so that's really important. It's great. One great thing about WGU is the evaluators give very, very precise feedback on what you need to change in your paper and revise, as well as which section. It's not like you're just handed your paper back and say redo it. So you can just go to that one section and fix it and not have to retype a whole paper, and it'll say exactly what you need to fix and if it says revision needed or not evident. So that's another great thing about WGU. So that is an overview of one of the classes, and I think that is everything as far as your student portal and homepage. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed touring the student portals for Academy and WGU. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them to the best of my ability. I have only been going to WGU for a year now. This will be my 3rd term starting on February 1st. So I will answer questions as best I can. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as that notification bell. Thank you so much for being here, and until next time, bye for now.